Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the start of a new preseason. I'm your commentator Rob, and alongside me is Blake, and we are here for the brand new DTM season. Day one of preseason testing here at Imola at Autodrome Enzo Ettino Ferrari in the Emilia-Romagna region. It should be a very entertaining test day. What do you think, Blake?
I can agree with that. Imola is such a historic circuit, and it's very fast and frightening, especially in from Villeneuve to the Minerali. So I think there'll be a lot of drivers trying to take that flat out. If they took it way too far out, they're going to cause a mistake. So this corner,
Well,
this track
when we
will be.
had testing here in Formula 2, we had some driver errors. So I am expecting pretty much the same for these cars, even though they're different.
Yeah, I can agree with that. This track fights really hard when you make a mistake. So I don't. I think it really depends if the driver's going to go for it. So yeah.
Not much runoff on this track, might I add. So that's something to keep in mind. If you get it off track, you'll probably stay off track.
Yep, indeed.
Well, it is my return to commentary after all. It's good to be back. Thank you, Joe, and everyone else for joining in the chat. And let's get this show started, as Flo has forgotten to give us the screen share. Without further ado, let's read through the driver lineup anyway, shall we? So here we go. BMW Team RBM has Jay McKenzie and Juho Soppanen, the former top class champion and the entrance series champion. And BMW Team RMG has Sam Fact and Dennis Graf.
In the other BMW team, in BMW team RMR, is going to be Roland Botstrin and former DTM champion Daniel Fraser returning to the series. And BMW R, I don't know why they call it in the very creative names, BMW. And Mohammed Ustan Hamid is going back for another season, as well as Maxim Tiktov.
Yes, afterwards it is Mercedes with Mercedes AMG Motorsports. They have Rubinho Gonzalez and Gabriel Quintino. Then is Mercedes AMG Motorsport Remus with the Scottish duo of Max Gillen running the British flag and Blake Moore running the Scottish flag.
And in Mercedes AMG Motorsports Silverhill, a Lincoln Parn is back for another year in DTM, and alongside him is the Champ Car driver moving up from Champ Car, TJ Papero.
Yes,
and
indeed.
and the goat himself, Marco Clark, in Mercedes AMG Motorsport Team Britain with Will Neller.
Speaking of Will's, next up is Audi Sport Team App Sportsline with Will Parrish, and alongside him is Josh Finks. Then in Audi Sport Team Phoenix, it is Xavier Wee and Victor Bobo. And the final two, you do them?
Is the current Formula One world champion Franco Gamba is now competing in DTM, as well as Polish driver who's coming back for another year, Matthias Terwick.
Yep, that's some pretty exciting lineups. And without anything else to say, let's get this show on the road, shall we? It's going to be bone dry, just a little bit of cloud cover. There shouldn't be anything too massive. We shouldn't expect any rain in this test, so it should be a dry session. Let's see what's going to happen. Who will set the fastest time, and how many people will make a mistake? Could be very entertaining to see what happens.
It really depends if they go flat out, especially in the corners like Villeneuve and Macaroni. So it really depends of how quickly they're going into the corner. So I would say that they might just do it if they have the confidence. So
Of course, understeer at those corners is a killer. You have to
yeah,
be very careful,
I would agree with
especially
that.
into Villeneuve, I'd say. It's a very fast corner. You have to brake and downshift and turn in and all of that at the same time, and then get back up the throttle quickly.
The further part of Guerneschi is also another killer corner because it's a very quick chicane. Because if you get it wrong, well, you're basically in the wall or even race facing the wrong way.
Yeah, and you also have to be careful into Rivazza, the final double left-hander. On that first part, it's so easy to understeer and find yourself in the grass.
Yeah,
As
and
we're
also
waiting
when I
for the first car to go out, it is Link Campana in the Silverfile Mercedes.
Yeah, running the. I think they're running the Deutsch livery. So, and now Capana's will be the first DTM car back on track since Monza.
Yes, that's right. And it's good to be back. Let's watch this test as an hour is underway already. We've already gotten the first minute over with. And Campana will be the first car out on track, of course, the former top class driver. Now let's talk about this lap at Imola, of course, because as you mentioned, plenty of a lack of runoff. I was going to say there is very little runoff,
Hi.
and at this track it's also quite narrow. Overtaking isn't exactly easy. There's probably only one real place where you can overtake, which is of course at the end of the first straight. But if you get your braking right into other places, such as this one, Variante Alta, you definitely can overtake. But you have to be very careful, especially with how easy it is to understeer in many of these corners, including Rivazza, which we're about to go into now. Balin Campana is going to prepare to begin his first lap, and I think most of the cars, if not all of them, should be out on track right now. But here we go, Balin Campana through the flat-out right-hand king, beginning a lap here at Imola. Here we go. It's a flat out first corner. This is classed as a corner by the FIA for whatever reason. And now in towards Tamburello, the proper first corner, the chicane through the left and into the right. Careful not to take too much curb. That curb really bites. And now in towards Villeneuve. Like I said earlier, you have to brake, downshift, and turn, and it's quite difficult. I can get back on the throttle for the entry into Tosa. You want to turn in a little early, but don't let go because you can understeer here, and it can be quite costly. Just as Lewis Hamilton, he had a moment there in 2021. And towards Piratella now, clip the curb a little bit, but don't take too much, and very careful over the track limits on exits. Downhill into Acqua Minerali, very easy to understeer and get it wrong. Now back up the hill we go for Variante Bassa, and now in towards Variante Alta. Very careful, you gotta be on that curb. You need to take some curb, but not take too much, and because if you take too much, the car will just end up spinning off into the barrier. As now Campana has a 51.5 in the middle sector, and towards Rivazza, it looks pretty straightforward, but it's not. You don't want to end up in the gravel trap. Just be careful not to take too much curb, because the curbs are quite vicious here. And the exit from the second Rivazza is what completes this lap. Campana is going to set a 1 minute at 21.7. That's the fastest so far, of course, because he is the only car. Duh. Jay McKenzie is next. What has he got? Second place. And Hamid goes second now in front of McKenzie. Next up is Motian. Where can the former Aston Martin driver go? Second, only 2,000s off. Blake Moore goes third. Will Parrish, he goes fastest now by 78,000 to a second. Michael Clark goes seventh. Max Killen sixth. Matusz Turvik fifth. Victor Bobo, the perennial DTM driver, goes first. Maxim Titkov ninth. Gabriel Quintino third. Josh Fings is going to go fastest, actually, by 37,000 to a second. Vino Gonzalez goes third. Franco Gamba on his first DTM lap goes fourth. Will Neller goes 11th only. TJ Papiro goes 14th. Xavier Wee goes 7th. Daniel Fraser up next is holding up Sopanen. Sopanen goes 20th. Fraser goes 16th. And Graf goes 21st. And who is that? Fact goes 12th fastest.
Here they go again. So first couple of laps going on.
An improvement for Campana. He's gone up to third fastest.
Yeah. There's a lot of drivers literally going for it. Also, Soffanen is all the way down in P22. He's lost 3 seconds. I don't know what's happened there.
He was impeded.
I don't know if he's been held up or so. Oh wait, I think he's been held up down in.
Yeah, that's been the thing. The former Haas man impeded him.
Oh, I think it went up a lacquer in Tamburello, sorry.
Oh, he just understeered off into the gravel, and lucky to keep the car straight.
I was so lucky myself.
Yeah, indeed. But now he's lost himself plenty of time, and he hasn't been able to overtake Fraser yet. I don't expect he'll be able to until the end of this lap, which means he should improve, but I don't expect him to have a fast time.
Marcus improved, but not very much.
Best
Bobo
never
improved.
rest, huh? Boba now fastest once again.
Whittier has improved.
Yes, Quintino has improved to set the same time as Gonzalez is now.
James.
Things is the fastest driver. Gonzalez, speaking of him, improves. So does Gamba. Gamba goes fifth fastest. Campana currently down. Meanwhile,
Now in second
Neller
eighth.
goes P8.
Oh my!
Hui goes
What?
sixth fastest. Meanwhile, and Sopanen, how much further can he go? He goes up to 13th with the hold up. So that is substantial. Fraser himself improved to set the same time as Turvik, as now Fraser is getting overtaken by Sopanen, forcing him a little bit wide. I think Boda has made it through just fine. As Campana is getting ready to cross the line, can he improve? No, he can't, is the answer.
There's a lot of time to improve, and especially the ones that we weren't expecting, especially Josh Things, and Mackenzie is
How
on.
many the Mackenzie have improved in the meantime?
How many people are going to improve on the slap because the track's getting faster and faster, but it could
Well, I
lead
can
to
tell you one driver who won't be improving as Blake Moore does improve. But one driver who won't be improving at the moment is Will Parrish because he came into the pits rather quickly. We have Bobo, can he reclaim the fastest spot? No, he can't. Torvik, 12th fastest in the meantime.
Thomas Parrish.
Yeah, he's gone out on track, and look at this little hold up. We got a free car train. On borderline Campana as things improves yet again, but not by much.
Everyone is literally just improving their lap time so rapidly that I was literally not expecting that at all.
Well, whatever the case, Figs is fastest with Bobo second, Campana third, as Graf proves to go still in 22nd at last for the time being. Of course, this will be his first season outside the F2 for a while, so he'll be hoping he can adjust quickly to a new car. He's driving as now Parrish is getting overtaken. I think that is Victor Bobo in the black and red in the black and red car there. An Audi. I almost said Mercedes for a second. It is an Audi.
Black and red is always associated with Audi. How could you like? Okay, I'm not going to ask any more questions.
Sorry, I am a little exhausted. I said while we
Yeah,
are off the air.
honestly, I can't blame you. Campana is still. I mean, yeah, he's on a improvement, but I won't say that yeah, of course, he's going in the pits because look at the top right.
Well, I think he's accumulated quite a little bit of marbles on his tires. They're a little bit worn. By this point, he can't improve anymore. So just bring the run to an end, fit on some new tires, refuel the car, and go ahead once again. As now some fact is currently being held up, but the German driver is currently in 16th. And can he improve on that time? I guess not, but we will see. Nope.
Will be almost 310 kilometers per hour before reaching the braking zone. Campana's now in the pits.
Yeah, Kenzie is also not on an improvement in the car that I used to drive once, but that season is bringing me bad memories. Still, I'm struggling to sleep when thinking about my 2019 season, to be honest. But Mackenzie, he's doing a little bit better than I did.
Yeah, yeah, and also especially the win at the last extreme last year. That was definitely a proud moment for the Polish lad. For hasn't won a race for like a while.
Yeah.
So I think we should like have like a review of like everyone's not like everyone's like seasons last year, except for I think how we should have a look.
If you want to go for that, sure, but I don't remember much.
I do remember. Okay, so Josh Things. So Josh Things last year, he was
He was in the entrance series. That was his debut, and He didn't really win anything, but he did well enough to get himself promoted to DTM, so that's a plus.
He was sixth in the championship. No, he won a race at Hungary. So
Oh yeah,
so
that's right, but he didn't win the championship.
that goes with your whole softening.
Yes, indeed. Like I said, I am a little exhausted, so apologies for the mistakes I'm making, if there are any, of course, and I think there are plenty, but nevertheless, let's move on from that, as some fact is going to complete the first sector. Out of Villeneuve and into Tossa, looks like he is very, very slow, 1 second off the pace. What's happened to him on this lap? Is it because he overtook that car behind him, or for
I
some
don't
other
think
reason?
I think it's on. I have no idea. All Graf's having a go. Yeah, but he's just. I don't know what is Graf doing, but he's doing something. He's. I don't know what he's doing, but I mean, getting
Gillen
lost.
is back out on the track meanwhile, as Dennis Graf will come in.
He's just using some facts as a tugboat. Um, last year, Victor Bobo didn't even wake up until the second half of the season. He won in Texas and Monza with that final pass move coming out at the end of the race. So I think Bobo could be one of the favourites going into the championship. But I wouldn't say we shouldn't bet on everyone's horses just yet because DTM can throw an absolute curveball at anyone at any time. So
I
this,
don't know.
we have to wait and see until the Hockenheim ring. So we'll see. We'll see
Yeah,
until
indeed.
yeah.
Nevertheless, the fact is, no pun intended, that no driver is guaranteed to do well just because they did well in preseason testing, and same goes in on the contrary. Just because you did bad in testing, as we Bruce go for fastest, doesn't mean you have a bad season. There's a big lockup for Max Gillen. Lucky to keep it on the track there, but he's under a lot of pressure at the moment. He might be getting passed here by Quintino, or maybe not. They almost collide, the two former F2 slash GP2 drivers.
Uh, Gamba is now on the back of one of the BMWs, just getting a little slipstream before heading into Tamburello. So what's time going to be Franco Gamba's? It's going to be no improvement.
I didn't expect him to either way. He's still getting used to things, but 7th in his first DTM session, not bad at all. It shows that he became why he became champion last season. He was the best driver, and he's done quite well for himself. And now in the DTM, I think he's just in it for fun, and he's definitely not having a bad time so far.
I can agree with that. Whilst, however, most people have some careers on the line if they want to stay in the GP4C. I'm looking at you, Blake. It's because even though despite Blake having the absolute worst season of his career so far, even though he's got I think the problem is with Blake he gets too many good results, but he's very inconsistent. But it could change in DTM because how well he did at BTCC before he got defunded. So I mean, it really depends.
Defended, huh?
Yeah, defunded. Joe always literally just says the defunded BTCC series, so I'm just gonna say that.
All right, sure. I I guess the best way I would put it is leveled up, because
Yeah.
the World Champ Car is definitely a step above BTCC. No disrespect to BTCC, but I think World Champ Car what you got right now is definitely better. As Franco Gamba uses the slipstream in the last sector to improve up to third place. There we go. That was a nice improvement despite a little bit of traffic, as Killen is now a fastest.
Was a really good uses of the slipstream around Imola because if you use it to your advantage, you can easily get a really good lap in, and Wilnella is now up into 5th place.
Another former champion in the top class doing rather well in this session, it looks like. As we are just about quarter of the way done. We're looking at this shot with Blake Moore, as Clark improves to go 14th fastest. Moore doesn't improve, And the car who is giving tow to is, I'm
So
not even sure who that was, honestly, but Franco Gamba will come into the pits
I
at the
think
end of this lap.
that was Turek overall. And there's TJ Papira just using as much of slipstream as possible off of Will Nella, just trying to find just his way, but TJ really needs to back off a little bit on Will
That
Parrish
was
again.
Will Parrish.
Yeah, Will Parrish, yeah.
Yeah, he said Will Neller there for a second, but nevertheless, here goes Parrish, whom I still haven't forgiven for giving me damage at Monza that time in 2019.
Why am I why am I improving despite having literally no fuel in the
Don't
tank?
talk about yourself in first person.
Explain yourself, Remus. Okay. Okay.
Lol.
Okay, enough of the banter. GT
Looks
Papira.
like TJ Bapiro's car needs an update on the name because there's clearly not Sazonov.
I think Global might update things for the first race. That's all I'm gonna
Graf
say.
improves, meanwhile he gets out of last place.
Now TikTok is now not possible. Well, there's
Clark
no
improves into the top 10 he goes, good effort there for the Brit. Sorry, for the Englishman. I need to remind myself he is running the English flag. Unfortunately, he couldn't get himself that brilliant helmet he wanted of Whitney Houston in Wolverhampton Garden,
yeah
but alas,
yes.
you can't get everything you want in life.
There's three things we must success in life: death, taxes, and Wolverhampton. The Wolverhampton Gardens on the helmet in GP4 SD.
Yes, indeed. I remember, no disrespect to Clark because I believe he is in the chat,
Yes, yes.
that he really wants to do Jenson Button helmet, but unfortunately, I don't really think we can do helmets in DEM because they're all covered up. You see by, the hood, the bonnet, call it whatever you want. But it's not about the drivers' heads you see in these cars. It's about their ability. Sorry, I know I'm talking like I'm drunk, but I'm not drunk. I haven't drunk in months. I'm just very excited as Motion and Graf have both improved, and now Fakt has improved to get himself behind his former entrance series driver things. Fakt is into second place.
Because Raph is literally using so much as the car as possible just to extract as much temps out of the corner. You can just see the car just slipping for Villeneuve. So I
Well,
think
this is
Graf
a
is doing
difficult track to master, and
yeah
these cars are quite bulky and chunky, so understeer can happen in these cars. And this is one track you do not want to understeer at, especially into this section, as Graf has just had a little bit of understeer there with a lockup.
yeah indeed. And yeah, that lockup was really flat.
A lap wasn't looking like that great a deal anyway, but he has improved from last place, and he's only 3.5 tenths away from P1 only, but he is all the way down in 16th.
That's the problem. Jay McKenzie's now set off with his lap time.
Yeah, new flyer for him. Currently down at 31st is the two-time Top Gas champion. As look at this, we got a free wide moment. Victor Bobo making the move. And he's made it stick. Fact improves again, but remains in second fastest. He can't get himself to P1.
Oh, Jay McKenzie, he's up on a couple of attempts, but I don't think he might get the fastest lap. It really depends if
Well, he's pretty much matching things, only marginally faster than him as Gonzalez goes into fifth fastest. Good effort from the Spanish driver. Meanwhile, on board the Mackenzie still getting a good exit there. And let's see the middle sector split. Can he be up once again? Yes, he is. He's gone purple in the middle sector, and it looks like Jay Mackenzie might be going fastest come the end of this lap.
car is literally planted to the floor, unlike Daniel Fraser's, who's like literally almost sliding coming into Akimina Rallies. So
Yeah,
it
he is
really,
a little bit off the pace at the moment.
yeah, yeah, I can agree.
But that doesn't mean anything because he's got plenty of time to set things up. We're further away done, and Mackenzie does go fastest. Though he did lose a little bit, a few hundreds to things in the last sector. His cushion was half a tenth. After sector 2, he's lost 3/10. So, yeah.
Okay,
And now
great
Fox
pace.
goes
Keep this
fastest
focus.
after improving yet again. So Mackenzie's time in P1 was very short-lived.
Yeah. Yeah, I can agree.
Yeah. Nevertheless, Mackenzie is on another lap, but looks like tire wear is getting to him a little bit. He's down. Here we have Finks, the man who a minute ago was fastest, but not anymore. He is all the way down in third, which isn't too bad given that this is his first time in a car other than an Entrance Series car. And the Entrance Series cars aren't are how should I say this nicely? They're
They're basically just old Formula 3 cars, basically. That's what
I was
this.
going to say they are kid level, but yeah, the DTM cars are a different beast entirely. As Things is coming into the pits.
Um, um, Rob, you realise that there were Formula 3000 cars like 1996, so yeah, they're quick, but they're not that quick. So
I said kid, not quick.
no, I'm saying yes, it's almost like kid level, like Formula 3, but okay,
Yeah, I'm saying the DTM cars are a whole different beast. As Mackenzie is once again up.
Yeah.
He's after a lap without improving. He's improving on this one yet again, and he might be going to the top of the timesheets once more. We will see. I think Fact will want to improve as well. Here goes Mackenzie down the hill. This is my favorite section of the track. It's so easy to get it wrong, and we had some people get it wrong even on the formation lap in real life. You remember it was, I think, Sainz in 2021 when he went off, or was it Leclerc?
It was science.
Yeah, on the
Science went,
formation lap.
and and Williams binned it in 2020, but I'm not going to name any names here.
George Russell.
Yes, okay.
Well, nevertheless, Mackenzie lost time in the middle sector. He might not be improving after all. Franco Gamba, meanwhile, is up on his personal best. And who knows, really, he might be able to find some more time in S3 and get himself up a place or two.
I think Franco Gama could be on some decent pace if he
More
wants to.
improves, but stays where he is.
Franco Gamba has softened in the BMW. Sorry.
Gamba didn't improve after all, and neither did Sopanen.
Doesn't Softening doesn't even improve at all.
Not for lack of trying, mind you. He just couldn't find couldn't get himself in the groove for the time being.
Oh my word! There's a lot of traffic going into. There's a lot of traffic going into the Curatella.
Improvement for Turvik, he goes 9th fastest, and this is the only real place so we have a chance of overtaking somebody in the dry, if we're going to be honest.
Yeah.
Look, he's going to try here, and I take it back. You can overtake after all.
It really depends on the driver in front if he's made an absolute car crash of an exit. So.
Well, Xavier, we didn't make things too difficult here for Turvik. He's made his way through, but his sector 1 was compromised pretty heavily.
I agree.
Yeah, you don't want to be held up in the Tamburello. It is almost a single line chicane because trying to take some creative lines won't work. That curb on the inside will bite and will just send you off the track.
Basically send you into this channel round.
Yeah, pretty much you could say that. And that curb, you can remember in 2021 Hamilton and Verstappen having their little bit of a tussle there. Hamilton went over that curb and luckily for him he didn't pick up any damage, but it could have cost him quite a lot in that race had he taken some more damage. What I'm saying is that curb at turn 2 is pretty atrocious. You don't want to be bouncing over it.
Yeah, for sure. Will Nell is now up to fourth as he improved.
Yeah, good improvement from Neller. He is within half a tenth of P1. As Jim McKenzie is currently down on his personal best, he will not be improving on this lap unless he finds something in S3, but he's going to need to find over 10th. And Sector 3, it's really only just one chicane and the two Rivazza corners, that's it. Blake, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here. I'm just looking at my pants too far away. I think that's better now.
Nice to see that Franco Gamba is Singaporean. We can see he has the Xavier Wee livery there.
I think Flo was, as I said before, Flo would change it for hockey
Yeah, of
news,
course.
right?
Yeah, no
Yeah.
worries about that. But Franco Gamba did not improve on that lap, 9 times down, so quite a way off the pace.
Skillen is not improving on the first part into Dosa.
He's two
That's a
tenths off already. He might as well call this lap off.
and probably, or even he might gain a little back in the middle sector if he's going to improve. If he doesn't improve, then he should call the slap off.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. As we did not improve on that last lap, quite a little bit off the pace given what his fast lap time is. He was 4 tenths of it. As now Michael
Like,
Clark tries to make a move into Villeneuve, can't quite pull it off. We, meanwhile, in the first sector, he might not be improving, but Pirro is improving, but he's down in last, and now he definitely won't be improving because he's just lost a heap of time being held behind Lincoln Pana there.
and Campana's gonna do the same thing to Franco Gamba.
Well, well, a little bit, I guess, but Gamba is giving Campana plenty of slipstream, and we'll see, of course, if he can get the overtake done. If you have an engine power advantage, you can really get some moves done here on this straight. If you remember Hamilton in 2021, he was passing everybody left, right, and center on
Okay,
the
I
front
get it.
straight.
Okay, I get it. The 2021 version of Imola was good. Please don't. Can we just focus on like a race or something like from Imola, like from
Hey, this is the
2000?
1 hour session. You have to fill the time somehow.
Oh yeah. Um, 2005. Michael Clark's gonna is literally still just finding a way to get past Josh Things, despite being a pre-testing layoff from Steam Boys.
Well, of course, in 2005, Imola used a slightly different layout with a chicane instead of the last flat out kink that we have. Of course, a good thing they got rid of the chicane because it was just ruining the flow of the circuit, in my opinion, and I think in your opinion as well, Blake.
I can agree. It would have. I think if that chicane was not existed, I think Alonso would have barely held on to Michael Schumacher.
Well, yeah, perhaps,
Kind
but
of.
who knows, really? He definitely, Schumacher definitely gave it his best shot back there to try to get past him.
So Will Miller is is not on improvement. He's just doing it, and Zenowe is massively down.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm not feeling that great right now.
Honestly, I could not blame you. DJ Papiro just going ahead and just no, he hasn't
Well,
haven't
it
even done
looks
anything.
like he's tired of Lincoln Pana constantly impeding him, so he's gonna come into the pits.
Yeah, and Maxim TikTok is now slowly but surely just trying to get pull back some time, but I don't think it's going to improve.
Nope, and we're almost halfway down with the session, hooray! As Titkov is quite a way down. Looks like he's impeding, is that Gamba behind? I think it is. Here we have some fact. The man currently fastest, not projected to be on an improvement. Crosses the line, and fact does not improve, in fact. No pun intended, again.
But
But I see he's rocking a a red helmet. I thought it was Michael Schumacher for a second, but he's got the BMW logo slapped on it, of course.
I think I think it's Nick Heidfeld.
Oh yeah, right.
I could be wrong.
Well, anyway, fact is still down in the first sector by just another tenth. Well, it is essentially a tenth anyway. 97,000 of a second. Down the hill we go, and through the double right-hander. You need to be very uh, careful with the turn in there because that corner requires you to go on the throttle early. But go too early on the throttle, and you're just gonna spin the car around. You don't want to do that. It's quite a difficult corner to master. You, you need to try to think of. You need to try to take both corners as if they were just in one corner. So that means sacrificing the first part of the corner, the first part of the right-hander to benefit you in the second part up the hill. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, and also Sufferman's on an improvement. I wouldn't say he's on a massive improvement. I'll say he's on a little improvement. So that's fact.
Well, yeah, I'm just going to look at the chat in the meantime, see if there's anything else.
I'm gonna look at the lap times. Turbic is not improving at all. Hey, yo, it's me in the background.
All right. Yeah, sorry, I was just reading. Sorry, not leading, reading. Man, what am I on?
Yeah.
The chat.
The chat could be full of gold mines, and then again it could be full of absolute rubbish. Look at the Formula E chat.
Victor Bobo driving a car with Loic Duval and Bella Newerville's names on it. The scenes, said Evan.
And also he's running the 69 number.
I'm not going to say anything.
Okay. Yeah. Fax is known. I don't think Fax can be on for him. Yeah, he's not going to be on. He's driving the champions last to his car. Behind. It's me, and I haven't even been improved.
You need to refer to yourself in third person, you know.
Oh yeah, Blake.
Well, that should be a little entertaining, but I'm bored with some facts still. And Tosa is another corner I want to talk about. Like I said during the first lap that we had on board, in Tosa you need to turn in early and get on the throttle nice and easy, because it's a deceptive corner, as Fraser has it going on fastest. You can understeer very easily into there and mess up everything. But yeah, you need to turn in early because you have the grip, and then get up the throttle early. It's quite difficult because many of these corners are uphill or down the hill, and getting on the throttle is a little bit more difficult. But if you get it done right, you can gain lots of lap time.
I can agree. So I think it's like the perfect way to say this is like you can try to do some. You need to stick to the normal race line. Some creative lines might really screw you up poster. So in fact,
Yeah, indeed. Many corners on this track are like I was saying, just like this turn 1 to 3 chicane, single line corners. There's only one real racing line through them, and getting creative will only result in you ending up off the track.
Yeah, and some factors now is coming into the pits. So...
Blake, in your opinion, what's the most difficult corner on the circuit?
Oh dear. I would say the two Akaminerani corners.
I think I will probably agree with you on that one, honestly. Villeneuve is plenty difficult itself, but the elevation changes make Aqua Minerali more tricky.
Yes, and Villeneuve was one point was just literally just a normal kink, but now it's just a very difficult corner.
Yeah, indeed. You need to be very precise with your throttle inputs there, otherwise you could end up off the track quite easily. that you have to get on the throttle early as soon as you get the car turned in, because because if you can easily run wide into the gravel or just lose the rear and spin the car around.
Temperatures just locked up at which color is it? Pertella.
Looks like somebody's got the checkered flag. Fact is, got it, but this doesn't mean he is done. As long as he's still on track, he can continue to do laps.
I
So
think
until he comes into the pits, ignore the checkered flag. Once he comes into the pits, though, that'll be it. He won't be going out again.
yeah. So TikTok will be the next one to go over the hill and just off it goes into.
Piratella, I think, is an underrated corner. Sure, in real life, lots of drivers got punished for track limits and at that corner, but I think it's quite a nice run, and the feel when you get it right is very pleasing, I think.
Yeah, and I think the most difficult chicane on the circuit is the
But Piro improves, so everybody is within half a second in the meantime. Sorry to interrupt.
Oh, sorry. I think this. I think in my opinion the chicane that you really need to get bang on is Cover Passato. The chicane.
What?
The Cover Passato. The chicane before Ravazza.
Yes, the Variante Alta.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Brilliant. Yeah.
it's quite difficult chicane because mainly because of the curbing. If you run to, you need to take curb over that. Need to take the curb on the right hand there, but you have to be very very careful. Too much curb will unsettle the car and just end you in the wall. Ask Charles Leclerc about it. I think he could tell you about that corner.
Yuki could tell you as well because he literally destroyed his car at the corner. So
I thought you didn't want to talk about 2021 anymore. As Hamid improves, he's got the checkered flag. We've got.
it was a joke.
I know. But yeah, we got 7 or 8 people with the checkered flag already. So this session will come to a close sooner than we thought.
Michael!
That was close shave there between the two teammates. No wait, that's not his teammate, is it? Is that Will Neller behind him? It is Will Neller behind him.
No, we'll Nels will be fuming.
What is this? Come on. He tried to go for the overtake, but just didn't trust himself and didn't really have the grip. Clark, meanwhile, what a slide that is, but he's recovered it promptly, and as a result, is just holding up everybody.
Yeah.
1.2 seconds down. I wonder how he can improve on this lap.
Oh boy, I can't wait for him to pull out the bloody hat now, do we?
Well, nevertheless, looks like Neller is trying to go for the move into Aqua Minerale and he failed, and you can see how much time he's lost. Look at that.
Yeah.
The black car is gaining a lot onto him.
I think that's softening. Softening's gaining.
Yes, indeed. And Sopinen's lap should have been compromised as well, given the traffic.
Yeah, thanks, Will.
Yeah, that's what he'll be saying on the radio. 21 minutes left in this session, but realistically, we got a whole lot less than that because over half the field has taken the checkered flag. And now Michael Clark has gotten the checkered flag, so once he comes into the pits, that'll be his session done. Well, another 2.1 seconds off. You can clearly see how much time he lost, especially in the Aqua Minerale when he tried to make that overtake.
As Joe has pointed out in the chat, the field is separated by 4/10.
Yeah, quite impressive. DTM. Oh, Clark's gone off. Clark's gone off at Villeneuve, but luckily he's rejoined safely there.
Clark really needs to put some new tires. He literally just, I have no idea what's happened to Clark's tires, but my god, it's fell off a cliff.
Welcome to the Clark train.
And Will Neller will be just being annoying everyone.
I remember IFMC, the race one of the races at Imola. It had a massive train in the battle for second place. Of course, Blake, I don't think you watched IFMC, but IFMC at Imola was pretty fun. I'm not gonna lie. I think Joe might agree.
Was GP3 like was GP3 better like with boring tracks like for example Imola? I remember there's another series that Imola was just insane. I
I'm
remember
gonna tell you, GP3 at Manicourt was brilliant. I don't know why GP4 struggles to be good at Manicourt, but
I have no
nevertheless,
idea.
IFMC France Season 3, watch that race 1000 times, you will not regret it. Best race ever, and I'm not saying it because my driver won. I'm just stating it as a fact.
Okay. So, in like say like Imola, there's another series that the race that Imola, which is not in GP4C, and the ending was ridiculous. Like for example, nearly half the field literally almost had zero fuel, and I somehow folded my way up to P6 in a Williams. So, yeah, how the hell have I done that? Well, who knows?
Oh well. Nevertheless, Imola is an alright circuit. You can overtake. It's just a little bit tricky, but in the wet, there are many more overtaking opportunities. The race last year provided some very entertaining action, and at this corner in particular, with George Russell and Kevin Magnussen and Valtteri
Oh,
Bottas fighting.
no, please! I don't want to relive the pain of being Kevin Magnussen fan before Brazil.
Joe said GP3 is better for boring tracks than GP4.
True.
Well, we did talk about Manicourt just a minute ago, so yeah, that is true. Meanwhile, everyone except Gonzalez and Turvik has the checkered flag.
I think. Turik's now the only one without the checkered flag.
Well, this session will come to an early end. We're just waiting for the people to come into the pits.
At least that's. At least that's good. At least we don't have to do more of this because somehow they in F2 they have not taken the checkered flag until the end. So, yeah.
Well, it's because of the lap limit. F2 doesn't have a lap limit anymore in testing.
Uh,
That's why,
all right.
if you're wondering. Because I know for a fact the lap limit got increased to like 90 laps or so, last 99 laps or so last season, and obviously you can't do 99 laps in a 1 hour session. So yeah, in F2 they keep going until the time runs out, but in DTM it's a little different as now everybody has a checkered flag next to their names. We're just waiting for the cars that are still out on track, which is quite a few, coming to the pits, but it looks like Sam Fact might end up today as the fastest driver.
Yeah, he's been very quick today, but I don't really think that it's gonna translate to the season. But it really depends if the DTM series is gonna bite some factor. It's gonna lend this time. But then again, DTM is how do I say this bluntly? A monster of a series.
Yeah, indeed, it can really surprise quite a lot. It
And
is probably the most competitive too, might I add, given
and
that given it uses it uses same stats for everybody the entire season. In
also
F1, FE and wait, let me finish, please. In F1, FE and the World Champ Car, obviously the driver's stats are influenced by the car performance. So there's that. In F2, there is a driver stat growth system, and in DTM, it's not like that. Everyone has equal stats, and they stay at equal stats the entire season.
yeah, especially anyone who has a chance of doing something crazy. So ATM can make or break careers. Examples, it can relive careers like Antonio's last season. It can make or break careers like for example Baron Epschi, the guy who was literally in the hub was actually really decent in BTCC has flopped. So DTM could really make or break your career here if you want to stay in this world circus of GP4C.
Well, yeah, it is very difficult to find true consistency in here. Victor Boa got 2 wins last year, as you mentioned earlier, but he couldn't win the championship. Consistency is everything.
Yep. Don't know can say that. Right. I think everyone's going back into the pits. I think we have 2 more cars left. Dennis Graf coming in. Roland Motrin.
Well, this means Sam Fact has stopped the session, so on his first touring car outing, he is fastest. He'll be lighter with that. So before we fade to black, we should go through the results. So Sam Fact is fastest, with Jay McKenzie second, Josh Finks third, Will Naller fourth. Then is Victor Bobo, who's just coming to the pits right now. Then Daniel Fraser, Roland Mocher, Rubino Gonzalez, Franco Gamba, Mohamed Usman Hamed, and Lin Campana in 11th. You can do second half.
Okay, it's Matthias Turek is in P12 with Xavier Wee in P13, Max Scullin in P14, Michael Clark P15, P16 is Quintino, P17 is Will Parrish, P18 is Graf, P19 is Blake Moore, P20 is Tiktov, P21 is Softenin, and back of the grid is TJ. Back of the preseason testing is TJ Papiro.
Back of the grid. Well, nevertheless, I think that's everybody into the pits, so we're just gonna fast forward and let this final quarter of an hour flash by in a second.
Yeah, I almost said another word, TJ Papiero. That's the first that I said that when he debuted in Indianapolis, and I got his name horribly wrong.
Yeah, Franco says, and this isn't a meme. I assume he was talking about Sam Fact topping the session, so you're not pitting.
Oh. Yeah.
But here we are. We already read the results, so we're not going to do this again. We're just going to do the top three. Sam Fact, Jay McKenzie, George Finks. So 2 of the former Entrance Series drivers doing quite well. We also Sopanen, unfortunately for him, he didn't do so well today.
Yeah, Juho Softenin is just currently is in the back end, but hopefully he can regain on his entrance series compatriots soon enough in Road America, because that's where the next preseason testing will be held at.
Well, at DTM and F2 at the start of the season, because at the start of the season everyone has equal stats in F2, can be quite something. You can be slowest in testing and end up winning the first race, or quite the opposite.
Yeah, I was. You can say.
Remember Alex Broster in GP2 when he topped both days of preseason testing and then flopped in the first races? Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Yes. So even though I topped the timing session and BDCC, I was a bit mid. So not gonna lie, I was a bit mid. So apart from like Bathurst, Holton Park, and the first race at Donington, I was mid for the entire season. So
well, we can always debate about that, I think. But nevertheless, that's been it from today's session. We will see you tomorrow at Road America, unless it doesn't work, in which case we'll be seeing you again at Imola. But that has been it from myself and from Blake. Thank you very much for tuning in. And yeah, thank you for welcoming me back, guys. I appreciate it very, very much. I will see you again in the next one.
Goodbye.